Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Rive to receive the top 10 stocks to buy right now. Artificial intelligence continues to be one of the hottest topics in investing right now, but I think investors need to be cautious about where they're putting their money when it comes to AI, because the winners in a new technology paradigm typically aren't the companies who dominated the last paradigm. So if you think a stock like Nvidia or even Microsoft is the way to play I think reality may be a little bit different than it was in the past. So I want to highlight some of the companies and innovations that are going on today and why they may drive value differently than what we've seen in the past. My name is Travis Hoyam. Thank you for watching Rive Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content. The first thing I want to dig into is 3 AI models and the way they work and the way they make money. This is OpenAI's site. OpenAI is the company that introduced ChatGPT. You may have also heard about DALL-E, the company's image generating AI. So this is definitely one of the leaders in artificial intelligence right now. Got a big investment of about $10 billion from Microsoft. So that would be one of the big company ties. And then Microsoft is also doing most of their cloud services. So this is obviously one of the leading companies. And since they introduced a paid tier for ChatGPT, they have reportedly started generating hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. So this company could be very successful all on its own, and it's not publicly traded. You do get exposure to it with a company like Microsoft, but could be a relatively small exposure given the sheer size of Microsoft. But that's one I just want to highlight. The other one is Stable Diffusion. And Stability AI created Stable Diffusion, and the unique thing here is that it is an open source model. That means that anybody can build on top of it. We have already heard that Apple is starting to work on putting this model into its chips. So we could see open source models be a bigger and bigger piece of the future from an artificial intelligence standpoint. I think that's the one thing that I want to highlight here is that if you think the winners of the past are going to be the winners of the future, so the companies like Google, Meta, OpenAI, and Microsoft who are developing these proprietary models, they may not actually be all that relevant in the future if we move to things like open source models, which I think is very, very possible. And the other one to highlight here is Midjourney. This is a company that actually operates its business inside Discord, which is a really interesting way to launch its product, but has been really successful in building an image generating business. There's a paid model here as well. But those are really the 3 models that I think we need to be aware of. And they're all run by private companies that are not public right now. But the ultimate value in artificial intelligence, it's possible, accrues primarily to the developers who are building on top of it. So using things like OpenAI's API or an open source model like Stable Diffusion to build a new kind of business model. I want to highlight 2 here because I think these are really interesting use cases. This is an agency that is actually using artificial intelligence models to create advertising. So in the future, we could just be prompting advertising instead of paying for photo shoots, which with an expensive photographer and model can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars to set up. The other one is a new one that just came out. This is FinChat. This is built on company transcripts and SEC filings, but it's using a large language model to pull that information. So you can ask this bot a question like, what was Microsoft's operating profit for each year the last 10 years? And this looks a lot like ChatGPT, but it's actually going to pull financial information. So this is giving you operating income for each of the company's business lines. And now we can look at this in millions or billions of dollars, annual numbers, quarterly numbers. This is another one of these products that just came out, but it's really interesting that we're starting to use APIs, or basically being able to plug in to an artificial intelligence model and then pull specific data. So there's going to be specific and sort of niche businesses that are built on top of these models that aren't necessarily big enough in and of themselves to go public. We've seen this story play out over and over again throughout history and technology. The companies that dominate one paradigm typically don't dominate the next paradigm because their business just simply isn't structured to do so. IBM really was the dominant PC company, but it lost that position to Microsoft and Intel, who had completely different business models and were able to think about the PC differently. When the mobile phone came around, it wasn't Microsoft that won the mobile phone battle because it was stuck in a PC centric business. Now we're starting to see all these other companies who are getting into artificial intelligence, but they have core businesses that they need to think about. Meta in social networking, Google with search, Microsoft with office productivity. There are reasons that each of these companies may not be the right ones to build the next AI platform in the future. That could be done with a new business like OpenAI or Midjourney or an open source model like Stable Diffusions. But I think what we do know is that there's going to be a lot of really small niche companies that are going to be built on top of AI, and they're going to be much more competitive to a lot of these big tech companies than maybe we would have thought of 6 months ago or so. So as AI gets more and more attention, one thing I want everybody to think about is who is ultimately going to add the most value, because it's not necessarily going to be the players of the past. It could be new companies, and that's typically the way things go in new spaces of technology. But I'd love to hear your thoughts about any of these products or the way that models are developing. Leave those in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to Rive Investing. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you here next time.